Всем привет! Продолжаем проходить Драуген. Мы закончили на том, что проникли в магазин. Так. Ага, мы, получается, перед тем, как взяли шляпу, да?
Lissy, nothing. It is her hat.
Teddy, I'm not
Betty
sure
was
that's...
here, not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
Another breadcrumb.
That's not an answer.
I know for sure she was here. That's what matters.
You know best, Edward. So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
What's that?
A handwritten note.
I'm not blind. What does it say, you silly goose?
It's hard to read. I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth. He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward. The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it, and Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann thought...
The mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 17th. You would have been here, Betty.
Rocks below the church. Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you 1,000,000 clams.
Where?
See for yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissy, wait. Lissy!
I'm over here.
Так, Лисси убежала. Идем туда сейчас к утесу.
Right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern
A
us.
little girl died. She was staying in her home. home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart? Get yourself up here, Edward Harden, right this minute.
Alice.
No need to shout.
Так, продолжаем. Так, как она залезла наверх?
Come on, it's an easy climb.
This looks very dangerous.
Oh, you're a big boy. Start acting like it. It's not Mount Everest.
I don't know about this. Whoopsie-daisy. Lissy,
Yes?
are you here, Lissy?
Hello.
Alice.
I'm right here.
Так, что тут? О, тут поставили...
What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl got
Edward.
herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours. With only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
I've seen all there is to see. I'm going back.
You can't leave. We might have missed something important.
I've seen all there is to see. I'm going back.
You can't leave. We might have missed something.
Dad's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
Угу. Так, цветы завяли. Так, камень.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside?
Something struck this bush. She must have landed on it when... on her way down.
That's ghastly, Edward.
Катька. Для нас знаете какой?
Так, камень сдвинем. Что
Мы
это?
тогда поедем с тобой.
Кукла, что ли, какая-то? А, пупс.
It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Нет.
Hold on. This pin. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong in a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh?
Так,
You
куда она
follow the same
убежала?
path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling through darkness? Lissy,
What is it?
are you here, Lissy?
No need to shout.
Lissy, are you here?
What is it?
Lissy?
Hello.
Lissy?
I'm right here.
Lissy, are you here?
Yes?
Lissy, are you here?
Yeah?
Are you here, Lissy?
I'm right here.
О, козлик.
Alice?
Yeah?
Alice?
Yes? You can see clear beyond the edge of the world.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean. Can you see where she fell? Seeing as you're so concerned about me falling out of trees, I wouldn't want to risk falling off a cliff. Can you see where she fell?
If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there. Alice!
Edward!
Lissy!
Over here, Teddy!
Так, ну все, больше тут ничего не посмотреть. Так, подожди, ну нам надо спуститься вообще. Не, мы тут, наверное, не спустимся.
Lissy!
This way!
Alice!
Right here!
Where are you, Lissy?
This way!
Так.
Lissy!
Edward!
Так, поднимаемся, поднимаемся.
Lissy. Lissy, are you here?
Hello. Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissy.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Жесть.
This is just ghastly.
приехал, я знал.
What made him do this? How long has he been?
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. It depends on temperature and humidity, of course. You shouldn't be here, Alice.
I've seen dead bodies before, and ghosts don't frighten me. I'm more concerned about you, given what
Stop.
your parents... You need me. I'm staying.
There's no reason to stay here.
We're not leaving him hanging.
There's no reason to stay here.
We're not leaving him hanging. Was he executed?
He could have kicked the chair away himself. There's no reason to stay here.
We're not... What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself? Sorry. Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran, and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact.
Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick, and he's too old to be Simon. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Betty, Betty, Betty. Always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty.
I'll have to dig a grave. I'll have to dig a grave.
What are you doing? You can't just pull him down by his legs. Try loosening the noose.
I can't reach that far. I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
Perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
Самое простое решение считает верным, чаще всего самое верное. В деревне считают, что Саймон убил Рут. Значит, скорее всего, так и было.
Perhaps she fell by accident.
So you don't think it was murder?
It's difficult to say with any certainty. The boy could have pushed her.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
All right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
I really thought I'd find Betty today.
Well, I told you not to get your hopes up, Edward. I mean, we just got here. It's a big place. She could be anywhere.
It's just the thought of her alone out there in the dark.
She's a tough cookie, your Betty. Tougher than you, teddy bear.
That she is. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll
Так, тут
try.
какая-то
In a
записка.
bit.
What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this.
Just like the book. Isn't that odd?
It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. Frederick's wife. The two brothers married sisters, remember?
Yes, and it's adorable. Keep reading.
I really shouldn't.
Really? How else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
My dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister, but I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently.
Так. Это пытался уничтожить.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Так. Интересно, из дома сейчас получится выйти? Так, из дома не выйти. Наверх, скорее всего. Так, а тут мы читали? Это, по-моему, книжку мы не читали. Так, небольшой перерывчик. Так, продолжаем читать. 3 августа 1923 года. Сегодня на завтрак у меня вместо чая был кипяток без сахара с лимонным соком. Еще я съела половинку яблока и кусочек подсушенного хлеба. В последнее время я что-то поправилась. Об этой диете я прочитала в газете. Судя по всему, в Лондоне она невероятно популярна. Но я просто ужасно голодна и мечтаю о яичнице с сосисками. 4 августа 1923 года. Вчера мы получили странное письмо, адресованное Йохану. От одного американского джентльмена по имени Эдвард Харден. Он из Ханновера, штат Массачусетс. Письмо очень вежливое и написано хорошим языком. Наш адрес мистеру Хардену сообщили в полиции в Элисуне, когда он попросил дать ему какой-нибудь контакт в Гровике. Я удивлена, что они сказали ему обратиться к Йохану, а не к Фредерику. Но, возможно, это потому, что нашей дорогой Маргарет больше нет, а мне проще ответить на английском, чем Фредерику. В письме мистер Харден спрашивал о своей сестре. Элизабет Харден, путешествующей в одиночку. По-видимому, она журналистка. Представьте себе пересечь Атлантику, чтобы написать о Норвегии. Звучит просто чудесно. В письме сказано, что Элизабет телеграфировала брату из Элисуна и сообщила, что планирует посетить Гровик. Не представляю, что могло побудить ее приехать в это тихое, скучное старое место. Здесь же стало совершенно не о чем писать. Его сестра еще не приехала. Если бы она была уже здесь, я замучила бы ее расспросами об Америке, о ее журналистской жизни и о том, как ей путешествуется. Мне кажется, у нее такая интересная жизнь. Надеюсь, она и правда приедет, хотя, уверена, ей здесь будет до смерти скучно. Я напишу сегодня ответ мистеру Хардену. Йохан небольшой любитель писать письма, особенно на английском. Он согласен, что мы должны пригласить мистера Хардена остановиться у нас, если он решит приехать. В конце концов, в Гровике нет гостиниц, а нашу свободную комнату мы практически не используем. К тому же, должна признать, гость из Америки, это звучит невероятно здорово. 5 августа 1923 года. Сегодня на завтрак я съела вареное яйцо и тост с маслом. Йохан сказал мне, что я занимаюсь глупостями. Не надо вообще худеть, тем более, что мы не в Лондоне, и никому нет никакого дела. Так, перевернуть страницу. Я написала мистеру Хардену и пригласила его остановиться у нас, если он решит приехать. Я в таком возбуждении. Только я беспокоюсь о его сестре, где бы она могла быть. 9 августа 1923 года. Сегодня в магазине был скандал. Фредерик кричал на бедную Астрид, заявляя, что ее козы пасутся на его земле. Я хотела вступиться за нее, но знала, что это его только еще больше разозлило бы. 10 августа 1923 года. Йохан поплыл сегодня через фьорд купить кое-что нужное, в том числе новую ткань, и забрать почту. Письма скапливаются в магазине. Иногда мне становится страшно. Кажется, весь мир просто забыл о нас. 17 августа 1923 года. Я дошила еще одно платье, на сей раз для себя. Клиентов больше нет. Никому не нужны новые платья, и мы уже целую вечность не выезжали в город. Я там совсем никого не знаю, да и кому нужны платья, сшитые в Гровике, если можно купить изготовленные в ателье в Элисуне. Чувствую себя такой одинокой, теперь спустя столько лет, мне так не хватает моей милой Маргарет. 20 августа 1923 года. Мне кажется, Рут что-то от меня скрывает. Она стала ужасно скрытной. Уходит одна, еще чаще, чем раньше, и постоянно возвращается в испачканной одежде. Конечно, я не возражаю, чтобы она гуляла и играла на свежем воздухе. Мне всегда было жаль, что она с Маргарет не позволяли, что нам с Маргарет не позволяли бегать и резвиться, когда мы были маленькими. Рут говорит, что она просто ищет цветочки и красивые камушки. Наверняка мне не нужно так сильно переживать. 21 августа 1923 года. Заходил Симон, принес подарок для Рут, целую плитку шоколада. Он чудесный мальчик, но Фредерик будет в ярости, если узнает об этом визите. 22 августа 1923 года. Я спросил Рут, не играет ли она наверху у фермы Фредерика или возле старой шахты. Она заверила меня, что нет. У меня никогда не было причин не верить ей, но все же я чувствую, что она что-то от меня скрывает. Пока ее не было, я посмотрела на ее рисунки. Какое же у нее живое воображение. 5 сентября 1923 года. Мы получили еще одно письмо от мистера Хардена. Он будет здесь в октябре, как и было запланировано. Жду не дождусь возможности наконец с кем-нибудь побеседовать, пусть даже это всего на несколько дней. Не то чтобы Йохан был плохим собеседником, но нам почти не о чем говорить, если не считать повседневного жития-бытия. Никаких известий о сестре мистера Хардена так и нет. Если она уже несколько недель как покинула Алисун, где же она может быть? Она могла, конечно, решить остановиться где-то по дороге. Мы ничего не слышали, но в последнее время мы редко говорим с кем-нибудь не из Гровика. Я надеюсь, с ней все в порядке. Было бы ужасно, если бы мистер Харден проделал такой долгий путь впустую. У Рут все тот же таинственный вид. Я знаю, что она что-то скрывает, на днях надо будет проследить за ней. 9 сентября 1923 года. Сегодня в церкви опять не было службы. Викарий так и не вернулся после поминальной службы в июле. И Йохан считает, что он и не вернется, и что он махнул на Гровик рукой, как и все остальные. По-моему, я вот-вот слягу с простудой. 15 сентября 1923 года. Кто-то ночью повредил нашу лодку. Это уже третье за месяц. Йохан, разумеется, подозревает Фредерика, и боюсь, что что-то ужасное снова через столько лет может вырваться на поверхность. Мне очень нехорошо, почти весь вчерашний день, да и сегодняшний я провела в постели. Рут была умничкой, она принесла мне картофельный суп и чай с молоком и медом. 17 сентября 1923 года. Она покинула нас. Нашей дорогой Рут больше нет. Я не верю, что это сделал Симон. Теперь его тоже нет, а с ним пропала и последняя надежда, которая еще оставалась у Гровика. Так, интересно. Так, ну мы уже играли. Так, а почему дверь тут закрыта? Это прям темно.
Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's
in
no such thing as a soul.
life force, ghost, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The only ghosts are in our minds.
Says you.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can.
It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it. Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things.
The two brothers married twin sisters, Anna and Margaret Taylor. That's the Grovik stave church behind them.
All those hopes and dreams, ground to dust by misfortune.
Так, это мы читали.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit. I almost forgot putting this aside when I lit the fire. Wasn't there an inscription inside?
Simon. Simon gave that book to Ruth. But who burned it?
Johann? Or Anna? If they believed Simon killed her.
But they were friendly, right? Simon and Ruth. Before...
I imagine so. And we know the sisters were close.
I still don't understand why the brothers had a falling out.
Whatever drove a wedge between them, it was big. These headlines make more sense now. Johann sells his share, and the cave-in occurs shortly thereafter, killing 3 people.
Including the younger brother.
The investor pulls out, leaving Frederick with the bills.
Oh, I feel awful for everyone. Losing a brother, losing the business.
There were no happy endings here.
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy.
Not now, please. I'm exhausted.
You do look exhausted. Go to bed, Edward. I'll tuck you in.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Так, все, ложимся спать.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Так, получено достижение 1 дома. День 3. Так, и что это, утро или ночь?
Where are you, Lissy?
Upstairs!
Alice?
Right up the stairs, Teddy.
А, рассвет, да?
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm upstairs.
Where are you?
I'm upstairs.
Alice?
Upstairs! Teddy? Is that you?
Lissy!
Right up the stairs, Teddy. This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic. I'll help you look. There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died.
What's the point of this? I should be looking for Betty.
I hate you sometimes.
What am I looking for?
Anything out of the ordinary. Something that could explain what happened to Ruth.
This is real life, not a whodunit by Agatha Christie. There won't be a convenient series of clues leading to a tidy conclusion.
Says you.
This is a waste of time.
Edward! You horrid man! Sorry. Please stay. I can't stand the thought of Ruth tossed aside because you're too busy to care.
There's nothing here.
What about these drawings? They could be important.
There's nothing here.
What about these drawings? They could be important. Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
A community divided. There's nothing here.
What about these drawings? They could be important. She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
something important enough to draw. That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear.
Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the black seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester. But instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
Your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you.
There's nothing here.
What about these drawings? They could be important.
Угу. Так. Ладно, книжку прочитали. Что тут еще есть в комнате? Кровать. Окей.
She made her bed that morning. Before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth? Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson. The curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see. Pull it out.
Так, что ж там в ящике?
What is this?
А, булавка.
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. They belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin. On the doll.
This is where it came from, her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
If we're to believe her drawing, perhaps the mine. She may have found a gravesite. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
She didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic events.
This is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe... Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night? We should be careful.
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead. I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute to think about all of this.
Are you coming?
In a minute. You go on ahead.
It might be her. It might be Betty.
So go. Don't wait for me. I'll be along in a minute.
Are you coming?
In a minute. You go on ahead.
Are you coming?
In a minute. You go on ahead. Do you see anyone?
They must be inside the church. Are you coming?
In a minute. You go on ahead.
Так, бежим в церковь.
Lissy?
I'm up at the farm.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm up at the farm.
Так, надо спуститься к магазину сначала. Потому что кое-что есть. Вот. Так, раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, 7, 8. Все, осталось один рисунок, и он как раз около церкви.
Lissy?
I'm up at the farm.
Where are you?
I'm up at the farm.
July 24th. Memorial service. A commemoration of the accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that. Lissy? Where are you? Alice! Where are you?
Так, и сейчас нам дадут художник. Художник. Так. Так, у нас получается 6 из 13 уже. Так.
All these fresh graves. Do you think that maybe
No.
Betty?
I'd know.
But
You wouldn't understand. Elizabeth and I, we have a bond.
God, Edward, your obsession with her is really starting to grate.
The bell's still ringing.
Let's check inside the church.
The bell's still ringing.
Let's check inside the church.
Why board up a church?
To keep the ghosts from escaping?
Regardless of how they got past the boards, there's someone in there.
Gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Can you peek through the boards?
It must be her ringing the bell. It must be Betty.
We'll soon find out.
It must be her ringing the bell. It must be Betty.
We'll soon find out.
It must be her ringing the bell.
Так.
It must be Betty.
See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Ну кто там есть, если никого не видно?
It must be. Hello? I heard the bell.
This is giving me
I'm
the
here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Угу. Интересно.
It must be her ringing the bell. It must be Betty.
We'll soon find out. Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet. It must be her ringing the bell. Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister,
Stop
Elizabeth.
shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here.
There are no ghosts.
I don't know about that.
That bell still bothers me. What a terrible mess.
First the store, then this. What was wrong with these people?
They were angry and afraid. I'm no closer to Betty than I was yesterday.
Maybe she never made it to Grovik.
Don't be ridiculous. Of course she's here. I found her scarf and her hat.
I guess.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say. What's this rope for?
The bell. I'm not leaving until...
This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope to ring it.
Yes.
But there was no one here. You didn't see anyone, right?
No. No one.
Ghosts. I'm telling you. It's ghosts! So what happened to the hunchback of Grovik?
They must be here still. There's only the one exit.
Maybe it was the wind.
A church bell's too heavy. It can't have been the wind. I mean... I don't know. Maybe it was the wind. There's no one here.
I don't like that sound. Please stop.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty. Lissy, look. Betty's gloves. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh,
She got these in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make
Breadcrumbs.
sense.
She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves, her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a lab.
Betty will have left more crumbs.
Betty, you're turning into such a pill.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say. Stop it.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
What happened here?
The sign on the door. God is not here. Their faith was challenged, and it didn't survive. I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
Угу. Так,
What's
что
that?
тут?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
It sounds like Grovik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
This sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Tilly varandra.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly, but I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune.
Так, какое-то проклятие настигло их.
The final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most folks aren't heathens, like you.
What are you doing? We're in a church.
Thought you didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility. I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say. Isn't this a fire hazard?
They're not always lit. Each candle represents a single prayer.
That's a lot of prayers.
There were a lot of deaths. The church book, a record of births and deaths.
So we can find out what happened to the people in the village?
And, Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead...
Her name would be in the book.
Vandals. Tore it to pieces.
I don't think the missing pages left the church. Look. How many pages are missing?
I counted 4.
They're probably all still here. I know. Let's make it a competition. 1-0 to Team Me. We need to find all the pages. The missing pages must be here somewhere. We need to find all the pages. I wanted you to find that one. I know what a rotten loser you are. The missing pages must be here somewhere. Found another one. You get it. It's right here.
They considered this a sacred place. For them to destroy it. This was an act of desperation and anger.
We need to find all the pages. Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous.
Given that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
Heretic. The missing pages must be here somewhere. I've never seen you read the Bible before.
I've read the Bible many times. It's an important historical document. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
Did you just translate that into Old English?
I happen to know the verse by heart.
You still manage to surprise me sometimes.
Так, вот страница.
Just one more page missing. We need to find all the pages.
Так, и где еще страница одна? Где-то здесь. Вот она.
2 for 2. A tie. Good job, Teddy. Old
Stop,
bean.
Lissy. This is not a game. Betty's out there.
Of horse feathers. Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Betty, 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 will you ever shut up about your precious Betty? Put those pages back in the book, and I'll stop trying to cheer you up.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
This book goes back years. It lists births and deaths. Here's the 3rd Fretland brother. The one who died in the cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse. That word is all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Perhaps they blame that on the curse as well.
Ух ты, все прокляты.
Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
He drowned the day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Ward?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed. after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. For a
Traitor.
Edward? What's wrong?
The final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty,
It doesn't mean she's
she's not dead. She can't be. I'd know. I'd know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty. Betty's still alive.
Так, небольшой перерыв. Так, продолжаем.
Must find that grave. Must find that grave.
Бежать.
Teddy? Where are you going? Don't leave me! Edward!
You better not be here, Betty. I'll never forgive you. Where is it?
What are you doing?
Looking for the unmarked grave. It's here somewhere.
What are you going to do, Edward?
It's here somewhere.
What are you going to do, Edward?
This one. It's unmarked.
What are you doing? Have you gone completely mad? Edward, stop it!
Thank God. It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward. What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
But I had to be sure. If Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Don't talk about my baby sister like
Or
that.
what? Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her. When are you going to do something useful with what's left of it?
Quiet! Just leave me be.
Fine.
Что?
Alice? you.
Она не настоящая?
Lissy? Where are you? Lissy?
Ну, я так и думал.
Alice? Alice, please. Come back to me. Where are you? Don't leave me. Lissy? Where are you? Lissy? I was afraid you'd left me. Now listen to me. No! Alice? Alice, please. Come back to me. Lissy. Where are you? Hey. Lissy, please listen to me. I didn't mean what I said.
Of course you did. Everything's always about Betty. Betty, Betty.
I care about you both.
Until it really matters. Then it's obvious who matters more.
I thought she was dead.
I wish she was!
Don't.
You deserve to be alone.
Don't leave me. Lissy? Where are you? Lissy? Alice? Alice, please. Come back to me. Please. Talk to me.
What's there to talk about?
You can't keep running away from me.
You think you own me? That you control me? That you get to decide how I feel and what I do every minute of every day? That I'm your puppet, your little plaything? Well, fuck you, Edward Charles Harden! I never should have come here with you on this pointless chase!
Now, be reasonable.
Ай, блин. А, нет, я думал,
Where are you?
зависло.
Lissy? What are you doing?
What I should have done years ago. Maybe now you'll learn to appreciate us.
Now listen to me. Please, listen. Hear me out. Don't do this. You can't do this to me. I need you. I'm not whole without you. I can't lose you. I can't live without you. Don't, please, don't, no. What? No! Oh, Alice. What have you done? Please, be all right. Please, don't.
You make me sick, Edward. Your mother and father would be ashamed. Elizabeth would be ashamed. They did not think you deserved their love, so they abandoned you.
Don't.
Oh, my child. We are all that you have, and we love you. We are here. With us, you are never alone. Do not forget.
No. Never. I never forget. I am never alone.
Так, еще одно достижение, все меняется. День 4.
Wake up, Edward. Stop hiding. Without us, you are nothing. You cannot hide from us.
Where's Lissy?
Alice is not here.
Bring her back. Please. I need her.
Alice does not love Elizabeth like you do.
She loves me.
Not like I do, Edward.
I'm so tired. Please.
What do you want?
I think of you so often. You have no idea.
You just want me to forgive you so that we can keep looking for your precious, perfect Betty.
She needs us.
She never needed you, Teddy Bear. And she certainly doesn't need us.
I can't find her on my own.
Well, it's just too bad, my darling Edward. Because we're done playing second fiddle to little sis.
Wait, don't go. I'm talking to you. Lissy. Oh. Lissy? Lissy! Lissy, get back here. Lissy? Listen. Please. You can't keep vanishing on me.
Try me.
Why are you so angry?
You do not know anger, Edward.
Did you ever meet my father?
Alice does not want to speak with you.
Then what about you? Are you going to help me?
God helps those who help themselves.
I don't need God's help. I need Lissy.
Do you, though? Did you ever?
What? Of course, Alice, don't go. Hear me out. I depend on you both.
You can never depend on other people, Edward.
I'm not sure you count as other people.
Everyone leaves, one way or another.
You don't. You can't.
Is that a challenge?
Stop playing games.
Are you ordering me, Teddy Bear?
I'm asking you.
Didn't your father always tell you to stand up for yourself? To be a real man and not a sissy? Maybe that's why he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Kaboom! He was so disappointed about what his only son had turned into.
You're a monster.
Takes one to know one. Old fruit.
Alice? Please. I gave you this jacket. Betty.
Так, все, Так, продолжаем.
You were here. Don't vanish on me. Where did you go? Lissy? Lissy. Lissy, I'm tired of chasing you. I'm trying to talk to you. Alice, be reasonable. Lissy, look. Her jacket. I'm sure it wasn't here yesterday, which
Jesus
means
Christ,
Betty was
Teddy.
here. Perhaps when we were out yesterday.
Betty,
she must
Betty.
have...
Betty.
You love Betty more than you love us. But don't you see? What has Betty done that we haven't? What can she do that we cannot? We've always been there for you. Why do you keep looking for her?
She's real. You're not.
So?
What? You decide what is real. We are real to you.
We'll never be the same. Lissy, get back here. Alice? Please. Don't vanish on me. Where did you go? Lissy? Lissy. Lissy, get back here. Alice? Please.
She does not want you.
Who are you talking about?
Why do you think Betty left? She was sick and tired of us. She wanted to escape.
Like mother.
Drowning herself because she couldn't stand being around us.
Like father.
Bang! Right in the coconut.
Stop.
You drive them all away, Edward. All into death.
Please.
But not us. We're always here for you.
I beg you.
You are never alone.
Stop! Leave me alone, both of you!
You want to be alone?
You really want to be alone?
Fine. You're alone.
Good.
Lissy, come back. Please. Don't leave me. I lied. I don't want you to leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. Please, Lissy. I need you. I can't do this on my own. I'm not whole without you. Please, please. Lissy. Lissy, come back. Please. Don't leave me. I lied. I don't want you to leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. Please, Lissy. I need you. I can't do this on my own. I'm not whole without you. Lissy!
Еще одно достижение, я не один. День 5.
Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you? Are you upstairs? Betty, I'm coming. I knew you were here. Wait there. I'm on my way. They didn't believe me, but I knew you were still here. I'll be right there. Are you upstairs? Betty, I'm coming. I knew you were here. Betty? Betty! Are you in there? Open the door! I'm coming in! Stand away from the door! Betty? No! No, 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 no! Oh. Oh, thank you.
Кто это?
Thank you. I thought it was you, Betty. But who? Anna. Were you here, Betty? Did you leave me another breadcrumb? What am I missing? Were you here, Betty? Did you leave me another breadcrumb? It's from Johann, addressed to his wife. Did you notice the handwriting, Betty? It was clearly distraught. Knock ere knock. Enough is enough. After decades of strife, I pray that God will, Tilly, forgive me. I am tired of secrets. For 20 years, I've kept my silence about our discovery, but my silence has only led to misfortune, and my cowardice has only led to death. I will make Frederick pay for what he has done to us, for what they have done to our Ruth. When it is over, I will let the ocean take me to you and Ruth. May God forgive me. Anna was already dead when he wrote this. He had no one else to confess to. What now, Betty? Johann went to confront his brother, probably at Frederick's farm. And then?
Так, продолжаем. Так, письмо мы прочитали. Что дальше? Так. Что
You
это?
said this was a gift from another unlucky suitor.
Зажигалка?
It was precious to you. You wouldn't have left it here unless... A signpost. A breadcrumb.
Ну какая
Followed
хлебная кровь?
Johann to Frederick Fretland's farm, and then to the mine. You wouldn't let this go, Betty. You'd follow your story to the end. All the way to the end. Did you go to the mine, Betty? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Did you follow Johann to the farm? Don't worry. I'm right behind you. Did you go to the mine, Betty? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Она на ферму пошла или в шахту? Вот вопрос.
So where is Frederick's farm? The gate. Frederick's warning. The path leads to his farm. The farm is on the way to the mine. Isn't that so, Betty? Are you still at the farm? Or did you go all the way to the mine? I need to see what you saw. Follow your story. The red thread you left for me. I'm on my way, Betty. So where is Frederick's farm? The gate. Frederick's warning. The path leads to his farm. What led you to this place? All these fragments. You'd piece them together into a story, wouldn't you, Betty? So, what do we know?
Так, Йохан Фретланд. Сердце всего это два брата, равные, но разделенные. Сердце всего этого брата, разделенные, но равные.
Johann and Frederick are partners, and on good terms. Something happens in the mine. Disagreements lead to a falling out. And at the end of it all, 20 years later, Johann walks this path to confront Frederick. Betty? Betty? Elizabeth? Where are you? I'm on my way, Betty. Was this your doing, Johann? Did you burn your brother's farm to the ground?
Опа, он сжег
And
ферму.
where were you, Betty? Did you witness their fall? I'm coming for you, Betty!
О, сейф остался.
What do you reckon, Betty?
Ой, ну могли бы сделать загадки, хотя бы там угадать. А, типа мы пока не знаем какой-то еще даты.
Betty?
Что так тормозит-то? Ага. Так, ферма. конечно, все так просто. Это прям вообще не квест. Так. Маргарет Рэтланд. Угу. Маргарет Фретланд. Окей. А тут у нас Саймон Фретланд.
Simon's grave. Born December 5th, 1909. Died September 17th, 1923. The safe. Frederick would choose numbers that meant something to him. Why bury Simon here and not at the cemetery? His wife's grave is also here. Perhaps Frederick wanted nothing to do with the church or with their God. I could really use your imagination, Betty. You'd figure this out in no time. Are you here, Betty?
Так, день
It's
рождения
probably
Саймона.
Simon's birthday.
Угу.
Another Viking artifact, Betty. Most likely from the same treasure Ruth found.
Какой-то браслет. Так. И бумаги. Письмо.
Postmarked in Boston. That's a curious coincidence. Dear Frederick, I hope this letter, it's in English, Betty. Hope this letter finds you and the boy in good health. We're concerned about you both. No word from you for almost 2 years now. All of us still heartbroken about Margaret's passing. We know things have been difficult for you and Simon.
Угу. Какая-то папка.
Mr. Fretland, we expect you to take care of this problem. If the discovery is made public, the authorities will intervene and the
Банк
mine will be
какой-то.
shut down. Should this happen, we will consider it a breach of our contract, and we will withdraw our investment. You and your brother will be responsible for all debts and losses. Johann must be convinced to wall up the chamber. We have already dealt with the worker who made the discovery. The Fretland Mining Company. I wonder what this unlocks.
Так, окей, нашли
You
ключ.
went to the mine. I hope our guardian angel watched over you.
Так. Бетти, Бетти, Бетти. Так, все это, конечно,
All right,
хорошо.
Betty. So what happens next in your story?
Вызвал такую сильную ссору между братьями.
Johann and Frederick discover something in the mine. A cave or chamber of archaeological value. They argue about what to do. If the discovery is made public, it's the end of their enterprise. Johann is convinced or paid to walk away. Their secret stays hidden. Then, a few months later, the accident. 3 men die. The investors pull out. The mine shuts down. Frederick's up to his neck in debt. You're at the mine, aren't you? I'm on my way.
Так, это шахта или что это?
Hold on, Betty. I'm almost there.
А, ну вот шахта. Это как пропускной пункт, походу.
Did you see this, Betty? Were you here? Where did you go? Cursed mine in Grovik? Locals struggle with bad crops and livestock deaths and blame it on... They thought they were cursed because of the mine. A thing like that becomes self-fulfilling. If you believe you're cursed, every misfortune feeds the delusion.
Так, ну что-то прям вообще. Получается, они думали, что прокляты из-за шахты. Что ж там произошло-то?
Did you come here to tell their stories? You were always braver than me. So, 20 years pass.
Раздор разрастался в холодном лоне Гровика. Опасное чудовище, рожденное в руинах шахты. Выданное проклятие стало причиной всех их несчастий, отбрасывая длинную тень на каждого жителя Гровика.
The Fretland feud tears the village apart, setting neighbor against neighbor. Always curious, always pushing the boundaries. Betty? Betty? If you hear me, just stay put. I'm almost there.
Тут такой склон, можно было и так просто пройти.
Did you come here to tell their stories?
Прям обязательно надо по дереву, да, спускаться. Как
It's a
акробат.
catalyst. Old grievances resurface. No matter who you stand with, you're a traitor. Things escalate. More people die. From disease, despair, suicides, murder. You were always braver than me. Always curious. Always pushing the boundaries. Betty? Betty? All because of the mine. Because of what they found there. And what they covered up. There was no one to stop it, Betty. They were alone. That's the real curse of Grovik. Isolation. If you hear me, just stay put. I'm almost there. Did you come here to tell their stories? This place is cursed. Ridiculous. You were always braver than me.
Так. О, кукла.
Ruth
Голова.
was here the day she fell. Something spooked her, and then she ran all the way to the cliff where... Do you know what happened, Betty? Did you witness it? Always curious, always pushing the boundaries.
А, вот Фретланд и зачеркнуто.
Давай, делай.
Так, открыть. Жесть.
Betty, are you in there? Please answer me. Betty? Hello? Betty, are you here?
Блин, ничего не видно с этой зажигалкой.
Betty!
Так, ну давай, давай, давай. Так, это что такое? Как сюда птица залетела? Что это? Это брошь.
Oh, Betty. This is Mother's brooch. You always wore this. You wouldn't take it off unless... You left it here for a reason. What am I not seeing?
Так, а это тупик, что ли? Почему тупик?
Call out if you can hear me. Betty? Hello? Betty, are you here?
Блять, это ворона. Опа. Офигеть. Шахту завалило. Еле успели выбраться.
Edward!
Betty? Elizabeth? Is that... Is...
Edward?
I'm here, Betty!
Where
It's
are you?
Edward! I can hear you! Hold on! I'm almost there! Stay put, Betty! I'm coming for you!
Edward!
Betty? Betty!
Edward!
Stay where you are! I'm coming! Elizabeth?
Edward!
I'm on
Where
my
are
way!
you?
I'm on my way! Don't move! I'm coming for you! I'm here, Betty! It's Edward! It's me!
Edward, please!
I
Hurry!
can hear you! I'm coming, Betty! Stay put, Betty! I'm coming for you!
Edward!
I'm almost there!
Так, что она в доме? Но там же никого не было. Что происходит?
Elizabeth? I'm on my way! Don't move! I'm coming for you!
Edward?
Just... I'm here, Betty! It's Edward! It's me! I can hear you! Hold on! I'm almost there! Stay put, Betty! I'm coming for you!
Edward, hurry!
Так, ну и чё тут, блин, опять зависло?
Betty?
Oh, Edward, hurry!
I'm coming!
Edward, is that you? I'm in here.
Thank God. Thank God. You're here. You're inside the house. Elizabeth. There you are. Finally. You have no idea how long I've been looking for you. You had me so worried. I... Look. Your brooch. Mother's brooch. You must have lost it at the mine. Let me put it on for you, Betty. I wouldn't want you to lose it again. No.
и что происходит?
She's been dead for 30 years, Edward. Elizabeth was never here. But we didn't come for her. We came for Johann, and Anna, and Frederick, and Simon, and Ruth. We're here to tell their stories.
No. Elizabeth. She's here.
You know Betty died when she was a baby. She drowned in the pond. And you found her. You were just 11. You carried her to your mother. And your mother...
She hated you for that.
She could never forgive you for bringing her baby to her. And you could never forgive yourself for what she did after. You always forget this. Because you don't want to be alone. So you bring Betty back. Again and again. To New York. To Boston. To the house. But always just out of reach. Never quite there. The scent of her. The echo of her. But never really her. All it does is make you lonelier. But the thing is, Edward, you're never alone.
You have us.
And you'll always have us. Betty's... She was never there for you. She couldn't be. You can't lose us. We're a part of you.
Forever. And ever. And ever.
But you need to let Betty go now. There's not room for all of us in there.
I couldn't save you, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry. It is as painful to wake from a vision as it is to be born anew.
Так, получили еще одно достижение пробуждения. День 6.
Lissy.
What is it?
Lissy.
I'm right here.
Goodbye, Betty. Lissy.
Так, вот чемодан. Идем дальше.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm right outside.
Lissy!
Outside, Teddy. Teddy bear? Are you up? Come outside.
It's a beautiful day. Had your noodle juice yet?
I might be weaned off this stuff.
Boo. Don't lose your taste for tea, old fruit. It keeps you human. We have unfinished business.
We do?
The final piece of the puzzle.
Ruth.
Come on. Let's go back to where it started. We have an appointment with a ghost.
Alice?
What is it?
No, it's nothing. Lissy.
What?
Forget it. Lissy. Nothing.
Such an amazing view, isn't it? And the air. Ugh. Boy, that sure is something.
What did you want to show me?
Come sit down.
What did you want to show me?
Sit! Why did we come here, Teddy?
To Grovik? Well... Some places have gravity.
What are you saying? Gravewick's gravity pulled us across the Atlantic Ocean?
Grovik? No. I'm not saying that. That's irrational.
But you believe it, don't you? That we were summoned to tell their story.
To find my sister.
But Betty's not. She was never here. It doesn't make sense.
The letter to Frederick.
The one you found in his safe. From Boston.
I may have overheard a conversation somewhere, paid it no attention, but the name stuck. And Betty... And I spun a story around it that put us on this path.
Do you really believe that? I mean, how often are you around people?
I'm a man of science. I don't know what to believe.
And yet, here we are. All three of us.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
I wanted to be close to her. Do you believe in ghosts, Edward?
You know I don't.
Well, you've been chasing one for years.
That's different.
What about me? Us.
You're not ghosts, you're alive.
Fair enough. So what really happened to Ruth?
She was probably murdered.
By Simon?
No, I don't believe it was Simon.
Then who? Frederick? The hanged man? Someone else?
Does it matter?
Maybe not. So she ran from the mine. And she came here. And then someone pushed her? If only she had wings. Like a bluebird. She could have soared away on autumn winds. But why was she killed?
Because of what she found.
Someone wanted the treasure. Or wanted to make sure no one else would find it. So instead, they cursed this place. And the curse killed everyone. Including the murderer. I hope she's at peace. And with God. Do you think that's where everyone's gone?
Heaven? They're dead. I don't know what that means. Maybe there is more. I can't stop you from hoping. You'll never know what happened to everyone in Grovik.
We tried our best. We'll remember them. All of them. Maybe that will give them some peace in the afterlife. Could this be your book, Edward? The one you've been wanting to write? A story about people who are isolated, left behind by the world. You can give them all a proper ending, with no annoying loose threads. Edward, is that...
Our boat? But how?
Who cares? Let's catch it before it sets out on another adventure.
I don't understand how this can be.
Draugen got tired of sailing around in it and brought it back to us.
It must have been the wind.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, teddy bear. Let's blouse, while the weather's still good.
I need my suitcase.
So get a wiggle on, old boy. I'm going to say my goodbyes to all the things. I don't think we'll be back. Meet you at the house.
My goodness. Righty-ho. No rush. We have all day. ground's finally dried up. Really is lovely here. The wind and the ocean are like music. I think I'll miss this place. The air really is invigorating. Do I feel like drawing anything today? We're in no rush. The boat's not leaving without us. I do look forward to returning to Hanover. We shall celebrate Christmas in style this year. It's so peaceful. I feel perfectly at ease. It's not even that cold today. What a beautiful day. Oh, look at that. The ground's finally dried up. Really is lovely here. The wind and the ocean are like music. I think I'll miss this place. The air really is invigorating. Do I feel like drawing anything today? We're in no rush. The boat's not leaving without us. I do look forward to returning to Hanover. We shall celebrate Christmas in style this year.
Are you talking to yourself again?
You know, this house is starting to grow on me. I almost wish we had more time to dig deeper into the history of Grovik. You know, this house is starting to grow on me.
Так, если поднимемся в комнату, Рут. Рут от Эдварда. Угу.
I almost wish we had more time to dig deeper into
Еще
the
одно
history of Grovik.
достижение. Так. Так, осталось 3 достижения.
Come on, Teddy. Pack your things. I'll meet you by the boat.
Do you never sit still?
Don't be a wet blanket. Let's make like the wind and get out of here.
You know, this house is starting to grow on me.
О! Получили достижение собеседник. Значит, оно все-таки не забаговано было. Значит, все-таки они его починили. Угу. Отлично. Осталось 2 достижения. Так, забираем чемодан.
I almost wish we had more time to dig deeper into the history of Grovik.
Зачем он брошку взял? Так. Какой-то маньяк прям. Так, упаковать.
You know, this house is starting to grow on me. It's so peaceful. I feel perfectly at ease. It's not even that cold today.
О, хорошо, что не пришлось спускаться.
What a beautiful day.
Come on, let's go. Row, Teddy, row. water's still cold.
It's a fjord, Lissy, and it's almost winter.
There'll be snow when we get back to Hanover.
The house will be warm.
Are we going to be all right, Edward?
I think so.
Прощание с насущным. Получили еще одно достижение. И осталось одно достижение. Нужно ждать, пока закончатся все титры. И где-то еще полчаса. На этом мы, ждем, пока закончатся титры, но на этом заканчиваем прохождение Draugen. Прикольная бродилка от создателя Dreamfall, но, конечно, это не игра, это просто как какая-то история, кино. Никакого, по сути, геймплея нет.
Den dag kjem aldri at eg det gleimer. Foran meg søver eg om deg drøymer. Om natt og dag er du like nær, men best eg ser